Hi dear viewers, welcome to all of you in basic piping and welding course class. Today we are going to be start lecture 23. So in this lecture I will try to discuss with you about the welding imperfection. So related to the welding imperfection, this is the lecture number 4. So in this lecture I will try to share with you some basic information about the solid inclusion and type of inclusions. So I hope you will be watch a full lecture and you will be you will able to understand the topic. Okay, let's see what we have in today lecture. So you are watching from YouTube channel Mohammad and Facebook page Watch and Learn. If you still not subscribe my YouTube channel, please don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel and click the bell icon to get the all update lecture, and you will share with your friends also the all lecture. Then you also can follow my YouTube Facebook page Watch and Learn to get the all lecture. So welding imperfection, this is the class number 4, solid inclusion and types. So what is the solid inclusion and what is the types? So solid inclusion is solid foreign substance trapped in the weld metal. Actually, if the weld metal we do the welding, in that time whatever actually in our the filler metal or electrode based consumable, without this consumable or this metal, any other material if comes into the welding, that is actually called the solid that is called the foreign material. So if that material is trapped in the weld joint, that is called actually solid inclusion. So what is the types of solid inclusion? Solid inclusion, there are the many types of solid inclusion. Let's see what is the solid inclusion. So number 1, the Slag Inclusion, then Flux Inclusion, Oxide Inclusion and metallic inclusion. So if we see these the things, we can see the welding metal welding inside, then we can say this is the inclusion or solid inclusion. So Slag Inclusion, Flux Inclusion, Oxide Inclusion, this one also can be the 3 different shape in the weld metal. It can be the linear shaped or isolated or clustered. Then metallic inclusion actually happened in tungsten, copper or other material. So this is the basic types of the solid inclusion. So I will try to share with you some information, the more details information about the inclusion details. So I hope you will watch my full lecture, then you will able to understand the full topic. So okay, start. Then you see on figure is here, I try to summarize the full lecture is here actually. So this is the surface breaking solid inclusion. So internal solid inclusion causing a lack of sidewall fusion. Then you can see the solid inclusion caused by undercut in the previous weld run. So internal solid inclusion, then the internal solid inclusion causing a lack of inter-run fusion. So if you see in this picture, so this is actually surface breaking inclusion. Maybe here have the some what say the slug or some other things is there in. Then this is the sidewall the sidewall lack of sidewall fusion is there. So this all the things I will try to discuss with you one by one. So slug inclusion, what is the slug inclusion? So slug trap during welding, which is an irregular shape, so differ in appearance from a gas pore. So you can see in this welding, the inside the slug is trapped. Why this trap in slug here? Because when we do the welding, before another run welding, we are not clean properly. That's why slug is inside. So inside trapped, slug is trapped. So this is called actually the slug inclusion. So a fine dispersion of inclusion may be present within the welding metal, particularly in the manual metal arc welding process. So when we do the manual metal arc welding process, that time actually we use the electrode. So in this electrode have the coated, so there become a slug. So this slug actually trapped is here. So slug inclusion, actually what is the cause and how we can prevent this inclusion? So cause is the incomplete slug removal from underlying surface of multi-pass weld. If we weld the multi-pass welding, maybe in between welding we are not clean properly, then it can be happened. Then the prevention, the improve inter-run slug removal. So when we do the multi-run process welding, so before doing the second pass or third pass, so we need to remove the slug and all the rust the properly, then only we can go to for the next run welding. Then the second thing, slug flooding ahead of arc. Then the position work to gain control of slug. Welder need to be correct electrode angle. So if we do the electrode angle if not correct, so that time can be the slug flooding ahead of arc. So when we do the welding, that arc ahead can be the slug, that one can trap the inside of the welding. So welder must need to control the angle and position of the welding, the electrode. Then entrap of slug in work surface. So dress make work surface smooth. So if work surface is there is a slug or something, then we need to clean, then only we can go for welding, then we can prevent this type of imperfection. Another one is the flux inclusion. So what is the flux inclusion? So flux trap during welding which an irregular shape should differ in appearance from a gas pool. So appear only in flux associated with I go the previous slide. Okay, appear only in flux associated welding process in MMA, mineral metal arc welding, SAW welding and FCW welding. So these three type of process, when you do the welding, that time only can trap the flux inside the weld and can cause the flux inclusion. So what is the cause of flux inclusion and how we can prevent? So cause unfused flux due to damaged coating. If the flux is damaged, so during welding it should not be melted and this should not be fused properly. So in that time there can be the same condition, means if no melt properly, then inside the weld this is trapped and this is can cause the flux inclusion. So how we can prevent this type of problem? Then use electrode is good condition. We should use all the electrode is good condition and dry condition. This is we need to consider all time. The electrode we need to use must 100% is neat and clean and without any defects, without any damage, without any contamination. Then only we can prevent so many types of defects from the welding. So second thing is the flux fall to melt and become trapped in the weld, SAW and SW. So change the flux wire, adjust welding parameter, its current, voltage, etc. to produce satisfactory welding condition. So this is the another things. So flux falls to melt and become trapped. So if you use the low current, maybe there is the current is not enough, so actually this is cannot be melt properly. So for that reason also can be the flux inclusion. That's why you need to adjust the welding parameter, is current, voltage. Then maybe sometimes is this flux or wire is the some is problem there or damage or contaminated, so we need to change the wire, then only you can get the better quality to do the welding. So another is the oxide inclusion. So what is the oxide inclusion? So oxide trap during welding which is an irregular shape so differ in appearance from a gas pool. So a special type of oxide inclusion is packaging which occur especially in the case of aluminum alloys. Gross oxide fail and full melt can occur due to a combination of unsatisfactory protection from atmospheric contamination and turbulence in the weld pool. So this is the things the oxide inclusions actually. Then what is the reason? So cause having milk scale rust on work surface. So oxide inclusion why happened? Actually the when we get the material, then maybe here have the milliscales. So milliscale, what is the milliscale? How I tell you, if we keep the some material in the weather condition, there rust there is the too much rust is there contaminated and this rust surface. So actually this is almost called milliscales. So the how we can prevent is the grind surface period to welding. So if there is too much rust, so we must need to grind properly, clean, then only we do the welding, then we can prevent this type of oxide inclusion. So another one is the tungsten inclusion. So this is the another important things. So particles of tungsten can become embedded during TIG welding process. So you keep in your mind tungsten inclusion only can happen the TIG welding process. So when we see we attend the CCV examination, we see the some macro. So when you do the macro the assessment, that time you need to you can see the top side have the writing actually this macro for which process, TIG process or MMA process or FCW process, they must mention the process. What is the reason why they mention the process? Because of if the MMA process, so if you see the welding inside something, that one you need to consider slag inclusion or the other things. You cannot consider as the tungsten inclusion. If you come to the TIG process, if you see the inside is some defect is there, some inclusion is there. So for TIG process you cannot say there is the slag inclusion or slag inclusion, because the TIG how you get the slag, so there have the tungsten inclusion. So these the things you need to keep remember. This is the key point you should keep remember, then you will able to understand and you will very easily you can get the mark. So okay, the second thing say appear is a light area on radiography as tungsten is denser than the surrounding metal and absorb larger amount of X-ray or gamma radiation. So actually this area the where is the tungsten inclusion, this actually the tungsten is the inclusion denser than the surrounding metal. So if we while the normal metal here maybe carbon steel or stainless steel, so here this is the happen, this is the more denser. So we know during the when we do the radiography, then we if you see the more light, that means this is the more denser the compared to the beside material or parent material. So if you see the more light is there, for example this is the parent material, so you see that this portion is the more lighter, so here have the some defects. So if this is the TIG process, then you very easily can see this is the tungsten inclusion. So I hope you understand what is the tungsten inclusion and how you can able to understand what is the tungsten inclusion. So why the cause tungsten inclusion and how we prevent. So let's see here. So contact of electrode tip with the weld pool. So when we do the welding, if the tip is touch the weld pool, that time can be happen this type of tungsten inclusion. So keep tungsten out of weld pool, use HF star. So when you use, then we must need to keep this tip is the far from the weld pool. So contact of filler metal with hot tip of electrode. So avoid contact between electrode and filler metal. Then contamination of the electrode tip by spatter from the weld pool. So reduce welding current, adjust shielding gas flow rate. Then exceeding the current limit for giving electrode size or type, then reduce welding current, replace electrode with a large diameter one. So next thing is the extension of electrode beyond the normal distance from the collect result in overheating of the electrode, then reduce electrode extension or welding current. So another thing is the inadequate tightening of the collect, then the tighten the collect, then inadequate shielding gas flow rate of excessive draft resulting in oxidation of the electrode tip. Then in this case adjust the shielding gas flow rate, protect the weld area, ensure that the pushed gas flow rate flow after stopping the R continues for at least 5 seconds. So another thing is the split or crack the electrode, then change the electrode, ensure the correct size tungsten is selected for the given welding current use. Then inadequate shielding gas, example use of argon oxide or argon carbon oxide mixtures that are used for the MEG welding, the change to correct gas composition. So actually this is the basically this is the cause and prevention. Please read carefully and I hope you will able to understand. So you just keep most important things you need to keep remember the tungsten inclusion. This is actually the cause during when we do the TIG welding process. So that's all. Then okay, so that's all. This is the today lecture. So I hope you are able to understand my full lecture. If you have any feedback, please don't forget to give your feedback in comment section, and don't forget to share with your friends. And if you think this is good, then click the like button and share with your friends. Okay, thanks to all for watching the full lecture, and see you soon in my next lecture. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.